or something, huh?
You want me to take it of you?
Oh yeah, you could do that. That totally works. I don't know. I kind of love being able to think on my feet. And during that last band, if you were standing near me, you might have seen me writing stuff down. Yeah, I made my set basically during the last 3 songs or so. But anyway, like, moving on. So like, this Saturday, like, it was my neighbor's 48th birthday, and I don't know. Even though I'm 24, I kind of like spending time with people in their like 40s and 50s. So like, he and his wife drove me to a redneck nightclub in like Enumclaw, Buckley area, and it was interesting. Like NRA hats and camouflage and like being like almost the only black person and stuff. Or like, it was weird too. Like everyone like looked super white, cis or whatever. But anyway, so like, it was interesting too, thinking how like, I don't know, like when I went to private schools, like all of the white suburban guys, like they'd listen to like, not all of them, but some they'd like listen to a lot of gangster rap and stuff, and I was never black enough for them. Like one guy was like, "Oh, I'm white and I'm blacker than you are," or something, as he said, like while wearing some like Notorious B.I.G. shirt or whatever, while he was like from Newcastle or something. I don't know. I'm not even sure if you guys are suburban enough to know Newcastle. Anyway, like, it's all fine. But anyway, so like, it was interesting. Like, I ended up like dirty dancing and like, it's kind of embarrassing, but I ended up like dirty dancing and kissing this woman who was like some friend of my neighbor, who she was like in her late 40s or something. And I ended up noticing that she was like only dancing with me and this other black guy. So like, it was interesting that like, it was like maybe the first time that I was like black enough to be like racially fetishized or something. I could be wrong. Maybe it was just a coincidence that out of like 300 people, she only danced with the 2 black guys. Me being one of them, it wasn't 3, like, yeah. So then, like, yeah, but, like, I felt bad at one point because, like, she said, "We can't kiss here, my son is right there," and it turned out, like, her son was right next to us, and her son is, I don't know, he might have been, like, 2 years older, or maybe my age, I don't know, but, like, and then, like, it was interesting. Like, I never really thought that I would kiss someone, and then they say like we have to stop because their son is right there, and then like, so like what happened with that is that like, I don't think he was mad though, because maybe 5 minutes later I was dancing with him, so like I don't think he was mad. I don't think he was possessive about his mom really. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like every week in my life there's crazy stuff, so I really like that I have stand-up to be able to like get all the craziness that's happening. Yeah. So anyway, so moving on. Oh yeah, one other short bit. There was this one time, like, I was asking this girl to dance, and, like, suddenly, like, her boyfriend, like, charges over, like, literally, like, throws himself or whatever, and, like, he grabs her by, like, the shoulder, and he's like, "That's my girlfriend." I was like, "Oh, okay, thank you for telling me. I really appreciate that you told me that." And, like, she's maybe, like, 3-4 inches taller than me. He's, like, 8 inches taller or so, and I'm thinking, like, yeah, that's like one of the funniest things about being black, how like no matter how skinny you are, like I weigh like 120 pounds, or like how like I'm like 5'8" or whatever, you can still like sort of intimidate people, since he literally looked like he was sort of afraid of me. And like, I don't know, like it was interesting too, because like it would have been kind of interesting if he had punched me. It would have been sort of nostalgic, I guess. He punched me, like, it's like I'd asked like my neighbor's wife later, like, "Hey, do like people get beat up here and stuff?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, people do. Like, it's that kind of place." I was like, "Oh, that's lucky." But I guess it would have been kind of nostalgic to being like 12 or 11 or 10 or 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, or 4. Anyway, yeah, it's fine. It's kind of nice to not get punched. So for the most part, I make the mistake of talking over laughs sometimes. I'm used to like doing a monologue in my head, like while I'm on the bus or whatever, and like there's no laughter or whatever. So when I actually hear laughter, it's like, oh yeah, I'm not like on the bus or whatever. So yeah, so this next part I'm going to do something that I think has never been done before, except Tuesday when I also did this. So like I said this thing where like you can raise your hand if you want, and I can invite you on stage, but you just have to stand still and just make funny faces or whatever. It's okay if you don't want to, but it was fun when I did it on Tuesday, and someone, I didn't even remember he was there, like, this guy in the crowd, like, raised his hand, and then he, like, went up, and, like, at the end I noticed he was there, because he was getting off stage, too. I was like, whoa. Wait, did someone raise their hand? Okay, never mind. Oh, you did? Oh, yeah, you can come up. Yeah. And if there's anybody super short near you, you can also... If there's anybody super short near you raising their hand, you can just tell me or whatever. Because I don't know, like, I'm a short person, like, at least people consider me short, below 6 feet or whatever. So anyway, here we go. Going to the next part. So, oh yeah, and also I look, huh?
When do I make the face?
Anytime.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like the whole time, or?
Well, you can also leave if you want. It's okay, like, you can make funny faces at completely any time you want.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and also I won't be making fun of anyone's appearance if you come up here, because I look funnier than all of you, so, like, if you come up here, I won't make fun of your appearance. So anyway, so, like, the next part, I think one of my favorite things about being black is, like, there are secrets you're supposed to keep from people about black people and stuff, and, like, one of those is that there's 1 month out of the year where black people, all of our abilities are enhanced. And, like, I'm not sure if you know about it, like, this 1 month is special, February. And, of course, February is the month that we have the Super Bowl. Yeah, and that's why it's in February, like, it enhances your abilities. And that's why, also, like, we have the Winter Olympics in February. And that's basically condescending to black people, sort of, because it's like, oh, we need to, like, level the playing field, so we're going to put this in the month where your abilities are better. But then I also kind of feel sorry for white people, because they put the Summer Olympics not in February, and I feel like it would be more, I don't know, like, less condescending to, like, have it in February. Oh no, I guess not just white people, everyone is not black. It's condescending to everyone who's not black. But anyway, so then, like, oh, I actually, like, wrote this thing on here, like, during the last song, like, turn over, for, like, turning over to the other side. Let me see. Alright, do I have, like, 1 minute left? Okay, here we go. Alright, so, yeah. Alright, so, like, one thing that also, like, I'm 24 and I still don't have a driver's license, and, like, I'm kind of worried, like, there are these narrow streets in Seattle where you have cars on both sides and stuff. I kind of worry that one day, if I had a license, was driving down the street, that a baby would just jump from behind a car, like, ta-da! And, like, I would just completely wouldn't be able to stop in time, and, like, no one would believe me that a baby had, like, tried to jump out from behind a car. Like, I don't know. It's like, babies, they can't do that, but, like, at the same time, you don't want to find out if there's, like, some 1 in a billion super baby that has a special hobby of, like, sitting behind cars at night and narrow streets and then jumping out to, like, scare drivers or something. Yeah. And then, like, another thing that I think about is, like, I don't know, like, when I think about that joke, it's like, I don't really fear, like, dying in an accident myself from bad driving. I think it would be worse to, like, hurt someone else. It's like a similar thing with stand-up. Like, I fear kind of, like, if I were to, like, tell a bad joke, then if someone in the back of the audience were to try to shoot and kill me, but then if they missed and hit someone else, then if forever after that, if I got blamed for that, like, I'd rather someone just, I'd rather just stop the bullet with myself and save the person. Like, it's like, if I like somehow managed to, like, jump to the back row or something and, like, block the bullets, like, just dive or whatever, like, then I wouldn't get blamed for it or whatever. But, like, otherwise, like, if something, like, worst case, some bystander had to, like, deal with the brunt force of me telling a bad joke, then people after that, they'd be like, oh, you should have never done stand-up, you're terrible, like, you're so bad, your audience died at your show. They'd be like, he didn't even die of laughter, like, it should have been. Yeah, is my phone, like, battery dying yet?
Yeah, it said it was dying.
Oh, okay, so it's not dead yet.
No, it's still going.
Okay, that's great. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, so, yeah. Let's see. Oh, that's one thing that's kind of interesting. I was volunteering on Monday. Like, I was planting trees in Kenmore at this park, and like I was thinking like one thing is like every week I sort of try to put myself in weird situations to try to make sure I can somehow get some sort of comedy out of it. So like I get up at like 6:30 a.m. I get on the bus at like 6:45 or so, get to Kenmore. We're like planting trees and stuff, and I find out that like one of the people volunteering is the wife of the mayor of Kenmore. As I'm thinking like, oh, like something is gonna come up here. Like there's the wife of the mayor of Kenmore. We're like shoving trees into the ground. Like it was weird too. Like the ground was like it was like literally like a swamp, so it was like a knee deep or whatever. Anyway, so like I'm getting tired and thirsty, and I'm wondering like what the snacks and things are gonna be at the end, and like yeah. That's the weirdest thing about comedy too, is I have a weird sense of humor, so I never know when something is gonna be considered funny. Like I didn't even think beforehand that would be funny. I kind of try to have a mix of like things I think are jokes and things I don't think are jokes, and then but it kind of irritates me just only the tiniest bit, because like sometimes the things that I don't think are jokes get more laughter than the things I think are jokes. But anyway, so like that's so meta. Like I was just talking there. I appreciate it. So like anyway, like yeah. So I was really thirsty, and like. There was like a beverage line afterwards. I'm wondering like, oh, I wonder what the beverages will be. And like, I was thinking like, not enough funny stuff has happened. And I get to the front of the beverage line, and I find out that it's a punchline. That's the kind of thing where I think someone would try to kill me over or whatever. And then at this point, I'm not really sure if I could end it here. I guess, like, I don't know, like,
One more joke.
Alright, I don't know, like, I'm sure I might be able to think of something, but I'm just trying to think. I don't know. Oh, America.
Oh.
That's all. Also, thank you for all the bands. Thank you, Evan, for letting me play, even though I didn't really ask him if I could do stand-up until the last minute. And